every king, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa, I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my hand again. Well, I'll be lonely forever. Leave your silence at the deadly sound. That's getting better. 'Cause I'm falling to my knees right now. Somebody save my, save my, save my soul. So I don't have to ever feel so lonely forever. I've been searching for your heartbeat.
Hello and welcome to the first ever Mark Talks. And all I can say is we've had an adventure before we've even started. Halfway through one of the intros, my internet decided to go nyeh, and absolutely completely kaput. So the loop went a lot longer than probably what it should have. But we're finally here. We've finally been able to get it done. And I'll tell you what, I am very, very excited for this. I want to say thank you to OLE, Bobby especially as well, for giving me the opportunity here today to do something that I love doing, and that's talking bollocks on the internet. And not only am I going to be talking bollocks today on the internet by myself, but I have the pleasure of introducing my very first guest. Now, before I introduce this guest and big her up so she gets a bigger ego than what she's already got, what I'm going to do is explain to you what this series is all about. I was given the opportunity to be backstage, really, with OLE since January, if I'm right. And basically, I've done fuck all apart from go on to taking over or going on to the post shows. And I want to be contributing to this channel as much as everyone else. And I want to be doing something on this channel that I don't do anywhere else, or I haven't done for a long time. And one of my passions is sitting down with incredible people or inspiring people, and just to pick their knowledge about themselves and other facets of their life. So in today we have got, here we go. This is the intro she has been waiting for. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the queen of OLE, the brains behind everything, the one true inspiration to everyone. By the way, she told me to say this and she wrote this down for me. And it is the one, the only Astrid. Thank you, Astrid. How you doing? And are you looking forward to this shit show that is already started?
I want to record that intro for later for my... That's the first. And no, I did not tell him to say that, okay? I don't have the ego that he says I do. That's the first thing. Disclaimer. No, I'm doing fine so far. Excited to be doing this with you. Excited to be the first one to be your guinea pig for this, to put it like that. So, yeah, I'm ready to be just talking anything with you.
Absolutely. We've got some people in the comments here today. We've got Melissa here saying love hearts. We've got Bobby as well coming in and showing some love. No, my phone doesn't want to show it. Let's do it here. There we go. Hello, Bobby. Lovely to meet you. I see you all the time. I'm in the chat when I'm on the show. So lovely to have you here today. We've got Andre, my guy, the only man I like in OLE. Yes, right, Ed. I'm coming to you later on. And we've also got Bobby as well saying hi to Andre. And we've got my sister from another mister. My sister from all the way across the pond. It is Lauren Goodnight. And then obviously we have got Andre again here, bow down to the queen of OLE, Astrid. She's turned into the Charlotte Flair of OLE.
Gosh.
Title shot, so she won. And oh god, he's here, isn't he? He's got to
Look
turn up
who's
with
talking.
something. Yeah, he's left. Oh god. Oh, he's having a go already. He's having a go. But before we get into it, and before I get into things, doing anything, and we get into the questions I got for you, I'm going to break down exactly what's going to be happening here today. We've got a few questions about Astrid, what she's done before, and then we've got some questions that, or some things that some people from OLE have sent in, and to finally finish things off, we got a quick fire round. And it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. One word answers, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But before we get into anything, and before we get into the certain stuff, mental health. You've been a very big advocate. You were one of the main reasons for me going on my channel and being open about my struggles that I went through mental health, how I got there. So I want to ask you a couple of questions regarding that. But first, before we get to that, how is your mental health now, and how are you doing?
I mean, I don't want to say it's obviously it's not 100%, but it has improved a lot. But it's always nice that when you have a group of people, not only like friends but family as well, that you can lean on to depending on what happens. So that definitely has helped me a lot to the point that I don't feel bad for opening up. I used to kind of feel guilty about doing it, and now I don't. It's like whenever I need to vent, I know I can go to somebody and vent to them, and I'll be fine afterwards. So it's a matter of expressing myself and not letting it keep me here.
And that was one of the next questions I was going to ask you. Have you, what is your outlet? How do you sort of keep your I'm going to use this phrase because we've used it already, the queendom, shall we say, of Astro Pizarro, of sort of keeping yourself like grounded or keeping yourself healthy. What is your main outlet for doing that?
I feel like aside from the talking to the people that I talk to, the other one would be like just reading or even watching wrestling because I can keep wrestling in the background what I'm reading, and that just helps me like not think about things I should be thinking about because I tend to overthink about things in the past as if I could change them and I know I can't. So it definitely helps out to get distracted and not think about them. Just thinking, look, it's done already. There's something I can do to go back and fix it. So and not worry about the future as well because I tend to overthink about what's gonna happen next and just living in that moment and enjoying the moment and what I'm doing at that moment exactly, instead of just focusing of like what's gonna happen tomorrow, what's gonna happen on Monday, what I gotta work and things like that when there's nothing I could do to like change it ahead of time.
Yeah, no, and the one of the things that I found with my mental health is I always write things down and go, what are the things that I can actually deal with, and then the things that I can't, that are out of my control. So then I cross them off, and then just deal with the things that are in my control. We're gonna go back and forth with mental health, but let's talk books, all right? You're talking to one of the most uneducated men that you will probably ever come across, and you've called me out on it many times for my spelling. Thank you for that, by the way. So what got you into um, books? What was the main book or the main thing that got you into that sort of headspace of wanting books?
I know I used to read when I was younger, but I stopped when I was in college because I was doing college full time and work full time. But after college, I picked it back up again. But before that, to me, it was more in high school when one of my friends introduced me like Twilight and the Hunger Games, and those were like the books back then that people were reading. So that helped me get into reading. But at the same time, like I tell my parents, like reading books and collecting them are two different hobbies, just so you know. So I do have a lot of books, of course, that I haven't read yet. But I would say books like Twilight is definitely what helped me get into reading. And from there on, even after college, I just kept thinking, what book can I read next? I remember always going to the bookstore and just thinking that one's gonna be next, and that one's gonna be next after I graduate, and just holding off on them until after I graduated. But it's always that part of it feels nice to like dive into a world that's different from ours sometimes, and just it's a good way to just get distracted and not think about anything else. So just I feel like it keeps me more focused on something else.
Perfect. Before we carry on with the talk with books, we had a little comment here from
Yeah.
Andre saying, I think Ashley and myself have to praise our emotional support on Melbourne. And I have to
Yeah.
say, so I'm going to lift the lid here a little bit. When I messaged Melbourne, sometimes for help with things or message her with something. And I have to say, it is the most fun conversation and most random
Mhm.
conversation I will ever be a part of. And it makes me laugh every single time. The woman
Yeah.
is brilliant, and Andre, you are an amazing man as well, and so are you, Astrid. So would you say as well, with the books that you read, is that something that sort of we're gonna overlap the mental health and the books here? So are you
Mhm.
saying with the books, it's like an escapism for you when you read that
Mhm.
book that takes you out of the reality you're in, and it takes you into a different realm type of thing that you're
Mhm.
interested in? Is that would you say that that's probably the right way to look at the way you look at
Look
books
at
as
you!
well?
Look at you with your wording. See, see. Ah, class for
I'm
that.
not just a pussy face, am I there, Astrid?
No, but you definitely hit the nail there because it's exactly that. It's the point that it's something to escape from, and I feel like it gets you creative because sometimes it inspires other people to write and do other things too. So you never know how you're gonna get inspired, but for me, it's a good inspiration to just read, and then you find other readers and you meet other people that feel the same way about the same book you do. So you get to talk about it with other people, and it's nice because it builds a community too, which is something that I had for a moment that it took me some time there, but it just gives you so much more than just reading the book. You get to be part of the fandom too, so it's just nice to see that too.
Yeah, he's had to come back in, isn't he? Thanks for that, Ed. Love you too, man.
Yeah.
And he won't tell me he loves me, but I know he does. So,
Hmm.
with your books, because I know that you were doing a challenge, wasn't it? A book a week that you were doing for yourself. We've got to go for it. He's here. It's
Yes.
Papa Smokes. How you doing, my man? Hope you're doing all right. Lovely to see you here, and lovely to have you in the comments here today as well. So, with the book challenge you're doing, is that a challenge for yourself? Is that something in this is going to be like a two-part question to this. Does this reading books, does this inspire you to want to write yourself? And also at the same time, if you're
Mhm.
doing this challenge, who's this challenge for? Is this a challenge to challenge yourself, or is it a challenge to someone else or
Yeah,
something
it's
else?
definitely. I would say for it's more for myself because
Hmm.
I want to tell myself of all the books I have physically, I want to be able to read this many, and I try to one up it a little bit if I can. But I work full time, so it's kind of hard to read at the same time when I have time off. Aside from doing everything in OLE, sometimes that I do behind the scenes, so I try to do that, and it's just for myself to challenge myself to read as many books as I can throughout the year, but also being reasonable because of my full time job as well. But
Yeah,
yeah, it does inspire me to write at times. I've written a couple of things that just something that I write for myself because I know I won't intend on publishing that anytime soon because it does feel weird to publish it. But it does inspire me sometimes to just read a bit here and there.
you're depriving the world here, Astrid, of some excellent literature, I tell you. And even, by the way, I'm more impressed with myself saying the word literature than I am anything else so far. So that's perfect. But before we
Hmm.
get into how you got into YouTube and where you are now, the queen of OLE, as many people will agree with me on, I want to talk about your background a little bit. I
Hmm.
want to talk about yourself. Uh, so, where was Astrid Pizarro born? And how did we get to the Astrid she is today? So tell the viewers who may not know a little bit about your background of where you come from, where did you go, where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe. If you're English, you know that song. Please tell me if there's any
I was
English
gonna say
people
I'm not
in.
English and I know it.
Oh, I'm so thankful. And so I started singing that, and I was
Did you
like,
see me
"What
bopping
is
to it
this?
just now?
Yeah." I was like, "Is she just popping to make me feel happy, or is it?" Pete, by the way, before
I
we get
know.
into any of that question, that song bangs, by the way. Is that not a great song? Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from?
Mm.
Anyway, um, I was fully going in. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself, about where you come from, where you are, and how you got here today.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Puerto Rico. I moved to the U.S. in 2004. So I've been here at least at this point for almost 20 years. Our anniversary hasn't come up yet. So I moved to Orlando, and this is where I've been ever since. And just here with my family, growing to make my dreams come true because it's something that we knew we couldn't do in Puerto Rico with the way it is there. So it's nice to be able to find what I have here because I know it wouldn't happen if I was in Puerto Rico for sure. And being here, it's just hard to put it into words to be honest. But it just, I think me being here is just a part of me taking chances on myself that I never thought I would, to be honest.
Okay, let's talk about a little bit about Puerto Rico. A little bit. What? Let's go back to before you moved to US. You say in 2004, when you come over here. What was it like where you were, and how was it when you were in Puerto Rico?
Oof. It's hard to describe it, but it was. I don't want to say it was bad, but in my family we had situations that's the reason why we moved. It's bittersweet because you don't want to get like move away from your family, and that's the biggest challenge of the whole process, to put it like that. But sometimes you got to think for yourself and your future, and in that moment we felt like we had a better future off here starting over than we did in Puerto Rico. So we decided as a family. We had a lot of people telling us, "You, your father should go first, find a job, do his thing, and then in a couple months later, you guys reunite." But the way that we are as a tight knit family, we decided, no, we're just gonna go all of us together at the same time, and then take our chances to see what happens. If we fail together. If we succeed together. It was always that kind of mindset. But we also had our families with us to the point that were like, we'll help you out. So when we sold what we could sell, we moved to like my grandma has a little kind of apartment that she used to have from when I was younger, when I was a baby. So we moved into that tiny apartment for a couple of weeks until we were able to move here, and just knowing nobody and knowing nothing from here, we just moved here, just thinking of here's where opportunities are going to come.
I have to say that is, and you can swear on this, by the way, because it's my show and I swear a lot. So the one thing I will say is from someone who's never done that before. You and your family must have some of the biggest cojones in going, because for going from a place that, not even a place, a country where your family, I presume, all grew up in, everyone, the whole family was there, to go into somewhere where you've never sort of been before or thought about doing, to go there. That shows to me absolute massive,
Mm-hmm.
and it also shows that your parents saw what was going on, wanted to do right, and
Mm-hmm.
it screams absolute legends in my eyes for them. But let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about your parents. Let's talk about your family. So I know that you've got sisters. Are you? So how many sisters or brothers, or because I know with how do I put this? Puerto Rican people, they have large families, right? Am I right
Yeah.
in saying it? So that let's go.
Yeah.
So how many brothers and sisters, and how many family members do you that you
Oh
keep in contact?
gosh.
Here we go. This is a good question for you. So
Hmm.
let's do it. So let's go through them.
So I'm the oldest one, but I have three sisters and one brother. I know, don't feel bad for him though, just in case. But yes, Andre. But yeah, it's me. Then it's my brother Michael, and then my sister Nicole, who moved to California about a year ago at this point. And then we have a big gap in between the next ones, and then we have, I call them the little ones. The youngest one's Alana and Ariana, and Alana's like my mini me, so she looks and thinks a lot like me, and then Ariana looks and thinks a lot like Nicole does. So we definitely have our mini me's, even though they're my sisters and not my daughters.
Right. Okay. So we've got future Astrid Pizarro to the internet that we've already got growing up already. So we've talked about Puerto Rico. We've talked about your love for books. Now let's talk about content creating. What inspired you, and what got you into, what kicked the content creating bug, shall we call it, like I call it, for you to do what you're doing now? What started this off for you?
Oof. It's kind of to say what started it, but I know, at least from me, I have a background in like writing and journalism, so I always wanted to write, and I always wanted to combine my love for writing and wrestling, but I didn't know how to do that. So the way it started for me, it was I have been struggling to find a way to do that. I didn't know who I could contact, who I can talk to, who could give me advice on it. I had nobody at the moment that I was thinking about doing that. And then little by little on Twitter, I kept like growing a community and finding people that I began to meet in the wrestling community, and that's when I stumbled upon Love Wrestling. And at that moment, Love Wrestling had tweeted, "Oh, we're looking for content creators," and I was like, "They're probably not gonna give me a chance because I don't have a following or anything like that. Nobody knows me, but I'm just gonna take my chance on myself and see what happens." And I I sent the information I needed to send. I sent it thinking that I was going to be writing for their website. And I was thinking, great, because I can do my love for wrestling and writing. Even if I don't get paid, that's fine. I just want to be able to do it and get the opportunity. And then as we making progress of me joining them, I realized it wasn't for writing, that it was actually for me to be on screen. And I said, shoot, how do I back out of this after it's happened? But at the same time, I just was like, let's see. I mean, you never know, because ironically enough, when I was younger, my dad would say, why don't you just go for a journalism degree? I would like to see you doing news later and see you on the TV as a news anchor. But I never saw myself doing anything like that. But I did see myself like on screen doing something, but I didn't know what the something was. So joining Love Wrestling, I was able to like start bits and pieces. I started with NXT that I did with Ed to begin with, and it started growing from there to like, oh, from NXT, well, I'll do pay-per-views here, and things started changing. As I would say, through my journey until I am here in OLE now, basically almost doing the same thing. But even just not only talking about NXT, but doing pay-per-views and being able to bring other people to talk them with us too.
And I think you've done a fantastic job. And I think the one thing I have found since first meeting you and going on the taking over with you is your confidence of being on screen has skyrocketed. And it's so good to see as well, because I know me and you have been talking offline for years. But we've really started really sort of talking a lot more over, I would say, past year and a half. And I would say seeing the growth from you going forward and the way you've been going has been and I'm gonna give him praise. I'm gonna fucking hate this, but Ed has been. So let's talk about Edward, shall we? Let's talk about Ed. Let's talk about Edward. So
Yeah.
you and Ed, I think, if I'm right in you saying you two you started together doing with Love Wrestling, doing NXT and doing that. So Edward, so if I say Ed, we'll get back into other words. How does he mean to you? How the man himself? Let's make him feel uncomfortable.
I feel like he doesn't know how, and I don't think how he did it. Like I can't even think of how it started, but little by little, he's the one that's encouraged me on screen the most, because I work with him the most out of anybody, to speak my mind, but obviously in a respectful way. But like talk more than anything. I'm very shy at first, and I don't talk unless I really know people. So it takes me a while. So even beginning with him, he's like, "Don't be afraid, just talk whatever you feel." So I know he's gonna feel like, "Why are you guys talking about me?" But yeah, he's the one that always like pushed me to like, "You can say more, you can talk more." So he's the one always encouraging me that sort of way. And I'm like, "I know, just give me a moment." Sometimes it takes a moment for me to get into that mindset, to put it like that. But he's always encouraged me, and he was like, "Say something. Don't be afraid to say something."
And I would say, Ed, he will hate this, but behind the scenes, he was one of. There was a select people I spoke to about coming back to doing YouTube when I took the break. It was you, it was Ed, it was Tom Colligue, it was Lauren Goodnight, and a mate of mine who I used to do the football podcast with, Ryan, who I will always be. He was there at my wedding. Ryan was, and I will always be thankful for him. But Ed, I don't think Ed wants the credit that I think he deserves. He will shit on me as much as he wants, right? And I'll allow it because I love him. But what I don't think he understands is how much he's helped a lot of people. And it sounds like to me that he's helped you be the Astrid we see today. And would you say Ed's the main reason one of, there's probably other factors as well.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons, because I would say your parents are as well, because it sounds like your parents have gone, take the bull by its horn, give it a shot. But just by them moving from Puerto Rico to here, that will give you inspiration to do what you want. But would you say Ed's also probably the main one to get to one of the reasons you're here now?
Yeah, he's definitely one of the people that is always, when I think about when I told him, like, I want to do interviews, he's like, started. Like, he's the one always telling me, like kind of like, what's stopping you from doing that? Sort of question whenever I think of something. And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking of reaching out to this person. He's like, why haven't you? Just do it. That kind of response is like, he makes me feel like I shouldn't stop myself and I should stop doubting myself on top of it. So when I think it was like, I should shoot my shot and just do this, and he's like, do it. You never know what's going to happen. So that kind of response is the one I kind of get from him when I tell him, like, I want to do this. And then he's like, why don't you? So he's one of those people like always there for doing that for me.
Yeah, he's great. Enough about kissing his ass. I've had enough of it now. It makes me feel ill. But I want to talk about your interviewing. You've interviewed quite a few superstars and a few content creators as well. My question for you is, you've done a lot. What is your goal for doing it? For doing that, is there a certain superstar or a certain content creator that is like your main goal of where you want to go to? Is there someone that is just you're transfixed on? I'm going to interview this person one day.
I feel like there's so many, it's not just one person, especially
Yeah.
a lot of wrestlers. Because if I get to interview like a Roxanne, for example, I feel like that would be a
Mhm.
huge one for me. Or even like the horsewomen, just even anybody
Mhm.
like a Bailey, a Becky Lynch, a Charlotte, or even a Rhea. And even if I don't interview guys often, a Damian Priest, like having those moments with the people that you admire, I feel like that's just one of the goals, definitely, to have one of those people that I really like and be like, I can do an interview with you, or even like a Seth Rollins, be able to get in their minds and have that one-on-one time with them.
Mhm.
Like that would be amazing.
Okay, then this is going to be a question, and I could tell you exactly, and I will give you my answer easily as well. If you could interview, we'll talk about interviewing something else a little bit. But if there's one that you would say that you would, I'm going to call it fangirl because I know I would. So there's two people who I would fangirl after. If there was, for me, it's the Linganadel. Like if it was face to face, I reckon I would cry like a little girl before I saw him, and then hug him and tell him how much I loved him and just ruin the interview. The other one for me is it's got to be like LA Knight because you just know you're going to get absolute gold out of him.
Hmm.
So for you, if it was for you, who would be like I call it the fangirl moment for you?
I would definitely say number one is Rollins. If I could
Mhm.
interview him, I feel like my voice would be so shaky, I wouldn't be able to get through the interview. And then I'll say Damien is another one. Zelina Vega will be another one too. That I feel like I would be so shaky, I wouldn't be able to function either if it did happen. But yeah, I have a few of those. They're just a matter of like, even just to win the one at the Rumble, that I like them, but they're not my top favorites, to put it like that. But even just being
Mhm.
next to them like that is so intimidating in that moment live there and there, that I was so shaky, hoping nobody would notice that my voice was shaky, and my hands were nervous and I was shaking so much. So I was just hoping like in that moment stay grounded and not like it doesn't get noticed really that I'm nervous, even though I am. So
If Gunther walked in on me, I would go, "Hello, Your Honor,
I know
Your Honor."
I've been next to the man. He's intimidating as it is.
I probably would try and kiss him at one point. How much I love him. Anyway, this is going into a whole different topic. Let's talk about the Rumble. Let's talk about it.
Mhm.
You got a press pass to go backstage and interview some. What was that like? Because I know that, or we hoping that maybe next year or the year after,
Mhm.
WrestleMania will be coming to the UK. And I will definitely be applying to try and do something like that. So tell me about your experience of that and what it was like for yourself doing that type of thing.
It was nerve wracking because I was by myself, really,
Hmm.
and I'm used to like at least if I can have a familiar face with me that I can kind of lean on to, but I didn't have anybody like that physically next to me, so it was nerve wracking until I got there. And this is one thing that I always say, like once I got to that room, and the room has like the backdrops to say like Royal Rumble on it, there's everybody taking a corner. I didn't know where to go, but at the same time, it felt nice because I could see people's faces, and I'm like, I know who almost everybody is in this room, so it felt weird not seeing them online, but seeing them face to face. But just thinking about the fact that I took a moment during that whole junket, and I stood almost like halfway in the room, and I turned around, I looked, and I said, I can't believe that I'm here. It feels
Hmm.
weird to think that I'm here, but I was telling myself I do belong here too. I worked like hard enough to get here, and I'm hoping I work hard enough to go to the next one too. But also enjoying that moment because it feels like it goes by fast, but I was so nervous it went by kind of slow for me for some reason.
Yeah.
But just being there and just thinking, let me enjoy this moment because it doesn't happen for everybody, and it doesn't happen all the time either. So let me enjoy it while I have it, and just being in that moment and being present there too. And just thinking about the fact like I get to go to the Rumble, the next, when the pay-per-view happened too, and being there and seeing a few people that I knew, it just felt so surreal, but it felt nice at the same time.
I have to say, and I want to ask you this: what keeps you humble? Because by listening by what you were just saying, then it seems to be that you've got a very level head. You take everything, the situation you're in, you take it in, you bring it in, and you sort of remember who you are. You think about how everything. What, who keep? Is it a person that keeps you humble? What keeps you humble? Than when I say you're the queen, you could easily go, "Of course I am." That type of thing. What is the thing that makes you keeps you humble the most?
I'll say it's my family and the way I was raised, because thinking about the fact that if I think about where I am now, I cannot say I did this by myself. So if you say like, yo, you're the queen, I'm like, no, I'm not. Because for example, thinking about OLE, there's a lot of us working on this behind the scenes. So it isn't
Mhm.
just one person. So I think about this is something like it's a collective work. We all work in different to put in. It almost feels like different departments. Think about it that way,
Yeah,
and we all take over in different positions in different ways. But in the end we all have that same like mindset and the same goal, to the fact that we want to monetize the channel. We want people to get to know the channel. We want, for example, like for you to apply to media and put our local establishment as your, and things like that, and put in your application to the point that people know who we are, and you're able to get that media pass because of the name OLE. So just thinking of like those are the goals that we want to have. To the fact that I keep thinking, even if I'm not here, I still want to help out because I want to build a platform so that other people can take advantage of it. So it's just a matter of like, it's not just me. If it was only me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm the queen. I've done it. I did it by myself. But I can't say it because it definitely will be a lie. There's so many people working here behind the scenes within this whole group. So that's why I cannot say I'm the queen. I cannot take credit for all the work when I feel like I do only a portion of it. So
she does say it backstage. Everyone, she's just being humble on the screen. So for you, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into this part of here where I asked a few members of the OLE family to ask a question. They sent it in to myself, but then they then decided to want to say things how they felt about you.
yeah,
So
of
what we're going
course.
to do is we're going to start things off here with my sister from another mister, and that is Lauren Goodnight. She says about you, she's a star from start to finish. I'm so grateful to know her and watch her success. That's what Lauren
Mhm.
Goodnight would like to say about you. But her question is to you: who is your role model journalist? And no, it can't be me.
It's hard to pick one.
Humble.
Mm, but I feel like one of them is Ella, because I seen her. I wasn't there when she started, but I've seen her grow from what she was doing to doing this full time, and I feel like a lot of people don't get to do that. And to be able to see her every time she goes to pay per view to do her thing, it's just nice to see that happening for her. And I think if she did it, then I know I can do a little bit of that. Even though I'm hoping to do it full time, but at the same time, I got my shoot job. That's really important too. But if I can do it even part time, I feel like I try to do what I can. It's I don't want to say similar to her, but it feels in that way. She's the one that I can think if she's done it, then I know I can do it too. And not only that, but thinking about as women in the wrestling community, it's not often that women get to have that kind of spotlight. So, when you have it, you got to take advantage of it and try to keep going from there and use that momentum. And I feel like she's done that, the way we hoped. And she's also always supporting other people and always being there when I have anything. I can text, call her, FaceTime her, and she'll answer with whatever answer I got. Even though I tell her, you don't have to rush to answer me, just whenever you can. But she's always answering my text when I ask her any stupid questions I got, and she's one of those people that I can reach out to when it comes to anything like media related, and she'll answer me any questions I got. And I feel like a lot of people don't always do that.
Perfect. Right. Next up, we've got Bobby Money Munson. He had right. I'm going to clarify this. I asked him for a little bit of thing of how he felt about you. This man wrote a paragraph and a half. So this might take a little while to get through. And I'm
Oh gosh.
dyslexic. So be prepared for this to either go extremely well or extremely shit. So here we go. In my developing friendship with Astrid, I got to learn so many amazing new ideas and way to conduct business as she's extremely smart and hardworking. I knew we both love horror movies, so when I come up with the idea for Killer Cuts, there was only one person I knew I wanted to work with. Astrid now has taken on a real leadership role in OLE. Her connections, knowledge, and hard work have helped OLE to accelerate into the welcoming community of contributors that we see now. If it wasn't for Astrid, OLE would not be where it is today. No matter where she goes in her career path, I feel fortunate to have built a friendship and seen Astrid grow in confidence along the way. That was, I asked for a sentence, I got a paragraph. But that was lovely from him. We all love Bobby Money Munson. But
Yeah.
his question to you, if you could sit down and talk with any one person who inspires you, whether they are with us or passed away, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. I
I
feel
know.
like that one's tough. Oh, gee. Hmm. I feel like does he mean like a wrestler or just like somebody in media though?
I presume in life
Oh gosh.
by this. There was no
Mhm.
specific to it. It was that.
Hmm.
You could put multiple. There doesn't have to be one.
Yeah. Because I'll say if it's wrestling wise, I wish I would have been able to talk to Eddie Guerrero because he's the one that made me fall in love with wrestling, and like his storytelling, his character work is unmatched. I feel like there's nobody that does it like him or did it like him. So if I could sit down with him and just ask him about like the way that he was before he passed away, I feel like that would have been amazing. I just I loved watching him, and it was bittersweet because I think it was the first death in wrestling that I really like
Mm.
went through as a fan. And it was not only me but my family. Like everybody in my family was crying when when we were watching the Eddie special they did. But yeah, he's one of those that I wish I could, just pick his mind on wrestling as a whole. And that one would have been a very cool one. Another one when it comes to like wrestling media, I wish I could talk to Denise Salcedo because she's another one that the way she hustles, holy crap, it's just on a different level. I wish I could talk to her about like her journey, how she keeps herself like motivated to keep going, especially as a woman in the media space. It's definitely not easy, and the way she does it, it's just incredible to watch. I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she has finds the time and energy to do all this because I wish I had it, but she's definitely inspiring in that aspect.
There is. I'm thankful you didn't say one person, so that's good. There is. I'm going to go with Mel Ball's question first because,
Oh gosh.
yeah, she put what her interested to pull to horror. So, what got you into the horror films? And the horror genre. What is your favorite film from it?
That one's also hard to say when it started because when I was younger, I don't know why, but I remember watching Scream when I was younger. I don't remember how my parents were able to watch that when I was younger. And even my friends tell me that they went to the movie theater with me when I was a child when Final Destination came out. So it's always funny thinking like that the way that horror was part of my life when I didn't even notice it, to be honest. But I just remember that I wanted to watch Scream when I was a little bit older, and I just kept going from there, just like, well, I wanted to watch the rest of the movies, and I kept going to watching more. And then my brother and I would get together and watch all these horror movies, and then being like, for example, when Scream 4 came out, that's when I was able to watch one of the Scream movies in the movie theater for the first time ever. So thinking of like from watching it when I was younger to being able to watch it in the movie theater was amazing to see. And I think I mentioned it before, but definitely like my favorite horror movies as a whole are the Scream movies. I definitely love the combination of like the comedy, the horror, and the movie within a movie kind of concept that doesn't happen often. So I like how well it was done. I feel like Wes Craven did incredible with these movies. So that's always been my number one, no matter what.
Is Scream the? I don't watch horror movies because anything that makes me want to shit myself, I'm not watching. So is Scream the one that's got Monica Geller in it? I mean, Courtney Cox.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's fine. So that was the question from Melville. And this is the message.
Gosh.
This got me, and I don't get got a lot. So put in God's message. I love the love I have for her and how proud I am of her growth and the determination that she has to push forward. Her consistent love and attention is admirable. I can't wait for her to start seeing even more opportunities coming her way. She has had a Penelope Featherington glow up, both in look and mind. To watch her go from such a shy, quiet woman to someone who's unapologetically defends themselves and others with logic, grace, and has the privilege to watch. I cannot express the pride I feel seeing the woman she's become. And then she put, and I put something. I copied and pasted this, and then it just started with haha. I forgot to cut that bit out. She goes, feel free to add in here as well. I have a very beautiful friend, and she deserves the world. So that was the message
Ugh.
from Melville to you.
You almost got me. I
From
held
her.
myself.
Yeah, you did. You did. You hid yourself as well at the same time. We also got a
Yeah.
comment here as well from Dara, the amazing. Hello, my friend. Hope you're doing all right. Hope you're having a great Saturday and everything's going well for you. And then, Andre, I don't think you got the memo. If you're still here, man, I'm still waiting for a reply, a message I sent you about 3 hours ago. But he put a question. He didn't put anything out, he just put a question. But if she could visit anyone that is part of the OLE team, who would she visit?
I mean, I'll be stuck between Mel and Ed, ironically. But I feel like the only thing would be different would be like Mel will take me to all these like tourist spots in Canada that I never thought about ever going to Canada, but I think about it because of her. So she's I will pick her. Sorry, Ed. Don't hit me later. Don't
I'm
come
so
at me.
upset I wasn't picked. I'm so upset.
I already been to London. There's no point.
Yeah, that was before you met me. That's just not fair. I'll take you
I
to
already been
Peckham.
to my
No,
tourist
I won't take you to
spots.
Peckham. I won't take you to Peckham. I'm not taking you to Peckham. So that was from. I do have a question from Ed, and I didn't
Oh
want to
god.
do this, but you can answer this at the end, right? And he didn't give anything. I've messaged him 4 times today, not one reply. Prick. The question that he has put me is, this is a question I asked him. But hi, I'm interviewing Astrid on OLE this Saturday. Is there any question you would like to ask her? But nah, I asked them all when I interviewed her, except maybe which interview she has done does she think is her favorite?
Oh gosh. That one's a hard one too.
Mm,
Um
the random shit that's happening now.
I feel like I would be stuck between the Ella one and the Jasmine Allure one. Because I like being able to talk to Jasmine about her background being Hispanic and representation and things like that. That I feel like I haven't even really mentioned with other people. And she's one of those people that I've been watching for a little bit online now. So I've been able to see her like her growth in wrestling. So to watch her and be able to talk to her, I feel like something like it doesn't happen often. The Ella one too, because I feel like Ella doesn't do a lot of like interviews, to put it like that, and be able to talk to her about her journey and everything she's done, especially at that moment. It was very fun, and it was one of the few that I feel like I was so at ease because she's a friend too, so I wasn't as nervous as I would be with other people. So it
Yeah.
definitely made me feel better.
So we're going to do a little bit of one-word answers now. For this. You could take as long as you want to answer each of them. There's no time limit because there's only a select few and try and drag it out a little bit longer. So I have found music. Yes. I'm also going to turn it up as well. There you go. So I'm going to ask you one word answers to you, selected wrestlers, and I want you to just give one word about them. They're about wrestlers and members of the OLE.
You're gonna have to pause the music. I can barely hear you.
Oh, for God's sake! I'm not pausing. I'll turn it down. Right, can you
There
hear
you
me
go.
now?
Yeah.
Okay. It took me 10 minutes to upload this fucking music. I'm playing it. So the first one is Damian Priest.
Okay, well, this is technically 2 words, but I'll say Puerto Rico.
Just already broke the rules of the game. It's only the
Yeah.
first bloody one, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, then. Seth Rollins.
Inspiration.
Rhea Ripley.
Brutality.
4 Horsewomen.
Ooh. I'll break the rules again. I'll say role models.
Ella J.
Ooh. Cheerleader.
Lauren Goodnight.
Energy.
Yes. Yes.
No, she's. I was
Yes.
just say full of energy, but I didn't want to break the rules too much. But yes.
No. Do you know what? There was a lot of words. I didn't think of that one. That was the perfect one. I'll give you that. Andre C.
I say creative.
Ed.
Sure. With Ed. Encouragement.
Hold on. We've got. Okay. We've had someone in the comments ask a question, so we're going to go wait for it. Let's go with Bad Bunny.
Oh, popular. Yeah.
Melbourne.
That was... Sister.
Bobby Munson.
Oh, Bobby. I would say brains. He has a big mind, a big brain.
Right. I'm fully going for ego play now. Me.
You. I'll say friendly.
That was not a word I would describe myself, but I'll take it.
You can frame it. It's okay.
I would take that with a ball and run over with it. WWE.
Entertainment.
Gone political with that one. TNA.
Oh, jeez. I feel like that one sucks because I want to say a word, but I don't want it to sound bad. But oh, jeez. I was gonna say kind of goofy because of the angles they do.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched The Wedding yet, and I need to watch it. That is something
There you
I
go.
will be doing.
That's one of the
Will be
exhibits.
doing. Yes. AEW.
Alternate.
Okay. Could Astrid curse? Yes. She doesn't do it on video, but I have heard it.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. So
No.
when it happens, you gotta take advantage of it.
It is the best thing when she does it as well. Like, I swear a lot, so it has zero impact on anything. But when Astrid
Yeah.
does it, oh my god. She normally swears at me than about anything else, and it is the best thing. If I wanted to be sworn at by anyone, it is by Astrid, I tell you. NXT.
Faithful.
And the last one, family.
I'll say important.
How was that? Those questions weren't that hard, were they?
No, it was hard to pick one word though. Hey, I broke the rules, but it's okay.
Who cares? It's just a random fun game anyway. But yes, so that's going to be the end. How did you find that? Was I all right? And yeah, was that all right?
It was more than all right. You did great. No,
Thank you.
look at you being a great host.
At this point, I'm just fishing for compliments at this point now. Before we started how much of a mess I was before we started this.
Yeah.
Everything went wrong. Everything. So, before we get into it, I would like you to tell everyone where they can find you, a little bit about yourself, a bit what's coming up for you and where you're going.
I was gonna say to break the curtain a little bit. I get nervous every time I do it. And if you could see me at Ed, like the backstage part that a lot of people don't get to see that we see, you can see me like rocking out to the music, the theme songs, and doing whatever I can to like shake it off before it happens. So I understand because I get nervous every single time, no matter where it is or who I'm working with. Doesn't matter, it happens. So I'll say just take that moment and just like shake it off, and then once you get go live, it goes away.
We were definitely shaking something off before we come out here. I tell you, it was all going wrong at one point. But yeah, no. Tell everyone a bit about you, where they can find you, what you've got coming up, and the exciting things that Astrid is going to be doing.
No, the segment things are more personal. Getting the promotion at work, so a lot of changes gonna be happening personally with that promotion. We'll see how that goes, but still, it's gonna be a fun experience. I'm really excited for that opportunity at work to be doing something new.
Oh wait! What? I asked you to tell me if you got that. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, why didn't you fucking tell me? Yes.
Well, I was gonna say is that Ed ruined it for me because he said it in one of the shows, so I thought a lot of people heard it, so I didn't say anything.
I told you to tell me. I was like, let me know how it goes. You never miss it. And I went, oh, I'm not going to message again because I don't know how it went. But you did.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, well, on the content part, we'll see how that goes moving forward, but it's still gonna happen. Just we'll see how it's gonna be a little limited, but we'll see how that goes. You can find me a little bit later. We're gonna do the Summer Sam post show with this one right here and my usual tag partner Ed as well. So we're gonna be seeing if it's gonna be Team Kunta or Team Damien. But I'm not gonna say anything else aside from that. Now we're gonna keep it for later. You can find me on my Twitter, Blue Skies, Astrid Pizarro, my Instagram and Threads, Astrid Pizarro 20, and everything else you can find it on my YouTube channel. So click subscribe and click on that bell to be notified when I upload.
See, look at that. Look at me being a producer as well at the same time and I'm losing shit while I'm doing this. Here we go.
There you go.
So I'll tell you a bit about me. We've currently got WWE on Mark Talks Wrestling, WWE 2K24. When you see this, well, it's live, like an idiot. Normally say when you see this, it's but on Monday it will be the Royal Rumble on there, and me, Bobby, and Lauren Goodnight have done commentary for it for the very first time. We've all sat down and we've done the men's and the women's Royal Rumble. The men's come out Monday. The women's will come out next Sunday, but we've got lots of great matches in there. We've got Gunther versus Dominic Mysterio for the World Heavyweight Championship. And by the way, you need to watch that because it's the biggest shock I've ever come across in the whole of me playing that game. And also Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes, which is one of the best matches I've ever done. On Mark Talks Football, we've got the Football Manager 24 save where we're currently in Japan, managing out there, looking to try and get back to North America. That is our next aim, to managing the MLS. And on Mark Talks Gaming, we've currently got redoing GTA 5 story in 2024, and Trevor has just come back. You will see that very soon. And I'm also doing not Football Manager, F1 Manager 24. There is a full meltdown that will happen, and I mean melt. Don't think I've ever got so angry at a game in my entire life. That will be coming out Sunday, but that will be it for us. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. My name's been Mark. This is hold on. That's been Astrid. You got it wrong as well.
Damn it. It's your fault. I'm used to it.
That has been Astrid. We will see you guys very soon. But if you're watching this on YouTube and if you've seen this after the fact, make sure you leave your comments of how you thought this all went. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to push more, but with love, with care. We will see you guys very, very soon. Oh, we got a comment. Hold on. Before we go, I've got a comment. We've got, that was, thanks to the stream. No worries, my man. I really like people know how much you comment. And bye-bye. That is the best bye-bye I've seen in a comment. Anyway, that will be it for us. And we will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.